introduce myself here. My name is Brian Ferguson. I'm the product marketing manager for Switchvox. And we'll talk about Switchvox Cloud. Good? OK. All right. So the agenda for Switchvox Cloud today is to talk a little bit about the hosted PBX model and the industry for hosted. We'll talk about Digium's cloud journey, kind of where Digium came to the realization that we needed something for a cloud option and kind of how that evolved. We'll talk about Switchvox Cloud as a product, our Switchvox Anywhere idea and strategy, some key Switchvox Cloud features and advantages, and then we'll talk a little bit about pricing and competition to wrap up. All right, so it's no secret that Switchvox or the hosted or model or cloud-based PBX systems are taking off. The industry is booming. There's major buzz in the industry. Every expo that you go to is, there's tons of cloud messaging. It's a big focus in the industry today. Grew 74% last year, the overall hosted platform. It's now a $1.4 billion industry of just hosted PBX. So it is a big deal. And it's expected to peak by 2016 at a $15 billion industry for hosted PBX. So if you're not in the hosted PBX business now, you might want to get there because that's where a lot of things are going, especially for certain customer sizes. All right, so when does hosted PBX make sense and when does it not? So low upfront cost. If you have somebody that doesn't have a great capital budget up front and wants to be able to still have a fully powered PBX, hosted is an option for them. Prefer operating expense as opposed to upfront capital expense. Maybe they just would rather have the monthly payments as opposed to putting out a big cash payment up front. Hosted is for them. Limited or no IT resources in-house. So there's a great percentage of people in these small or micro level businesses that just don't have IT staffs. Or they do, but they're very overworked dealing with all the other things that they have to deal with. They don't want to have to manage a phone system for themselves. So hosted is a great model for them. Multiple small remote offices. If you think of a restaurant or a fast food chain, McDonald's, maybe they want to have a premise-based PBX for their corporate office, but they might not want to do that for all of their tens of thousands of stores around the world. So they want to have maybe a hosted model would be the better option for them. Rapid deployment and scalability needs. Maybe they need to be fired up quickly, and they want to be able to grow quickly and add people quickly, and they don't want to have to worry about ordering equipment and worrying about having to have somebody come out and manage that whole process. They want something that can happen almost immediately. And then again, no desire to manage a phone system. They may have the IT staff on hand, but maybe they just don't have any interest in it. They have different parts of their business that they'd rather focus on, and a phone system is not one of them. And there are many, many customers like that out there, and so hosted options are best for them. So Digium has realized over the last several years that this has been coming and that we need to be ready. So Digium's journey into the cloud, so in 2007, Digium was and is today the Asterisk company, but was purely focused on Asterisk and the development of Asterisk, the stewardship of Asterisk, developing products to help people build stuff with Asterisk. That's what the company focused on until this point. But in 2007, they decided to launch a commercial product, to actually have something that's supported because there was a huge business need for this. People were pining for an Asterisk-based system that was developed and was supported by Digium. And so the executive staff of Digium went out searching for a product to help do that, whether they're going to build it on our own or go find somebody who already does it, and they found Switchvox. And Switchvox was doing it better than anybody was at that time, and Digium acquired Switchvox in 2007 and has had several years of development with Switchvox. Switchvox is a Asterisk-based system built on Asterisk. Asterisk is the underlying code and engine that makes it go, but now Digium supported it. We support it as an organization, as a corporation. So over the past 18 months or 2 years or so, this hosted idea has come up, and it's been a really an earth-changing thing within the industry. And so we needed to have an option for people. So we did the research, figured out what we were going to do, and in early 2012, we launched a beta in partnership with one of our Asterisk partners who had been doing some hosted environments using Asterisk for a while, and we launched a closed version or a closed beta of Switchvox Cloud. And it went really well. The company was called Vocal Cloud. They're based here in Atlanta. And it went we signed up hundreds of customers, and everything was really going really well. So Q1 of 2013, we launched fully Switchvox Cloud to the open market and launched a channel program around Switchvox Cloud. So now if you are a developer or if you're a reseller of products, you can now have Switchvox from any size company that you're going to deal with, any deployment model that they'd like to use, whether it's hosted or premise-based. Now you could use Switchvox as an option for both of those. Recently, this September, we purchased Vocal Cloud and now have Digium Cloud Services. So we have an organization, a part of our organization that is focused purely on cloud products. Today, that's just Switchvox, but down the road, that will grow into a wider variety of cloud products that will come out. But now, Digium controls the entire process from end to end, from the hosted deployment, is all controlled by Digium, from the trunking all the way down to the endpoint with Digium phones. All right, so quickly about Switchvox. For those of you who may not know the specifics, it's an award-winning solution considered to be the best value, and it's built upon Asterisk. Noted for being the best value in the industry for small and medium businesses. End-to-end integrated solution for business communications, all the way down to the handset. For those of you who were at AstroCon last year, we know we launched Digium phones, and they've been a huge, huge success. And if you haven't seen the integration with Switchvox, it's really, really incredible as far as the things that it can do. And the really neat thing about having our own phones is that we can now write things specifically for Switchvox. So it's no longer just a Polycom or an Astra or Grandstream phones trying to configure them and make them work. You plug it in, and it works, and it has all the features ready to go. Built on open standards, so if you guys want to choose to continue to use whether it's on the connectivity side or PRIs or analog lines or however you want to connect, it's fine, or the hosted model, or from a handset idea, if you want to use somebody else, you're just stuck on them, maybe you're in a deployment that has a bunch of Polycom phones laying around and they don't want to replace them all at once, we can still work with any standardized SIP phone that's out there in the market. We have established reseller channel, well over 1,400 partners, and 2,200 worldwide. And then it can be extended with the API, which we just heard about from Jim and his group. So I always like to say that there's 5 key benefits that really separate Switchvox from a lot of the competition that's out there. But the first one is that all features are included. We don't charge for anything as far as features go. You have a user, they have access to every single feature within Switchvox, all of them. And that includes queues, mobile applications, call recording, mobility. Everything is 100% included in the price. They have a user, they have access to everything. Now, you still have control. You can still limit those. You have permissions that you can turn on and off to make sure that people don't have features that they're not supposed to have. But you have access. You guys have the control. It's no longer you have a new user that comes up, maybe they change jobs, and they need more access. Now you have to go get a PO cut from accounting to get the feature added. It's now this big, long process. Well, no, you just go into the admin, you turn it on, and they're ready to go. So every feature is included. Makes it really easy to purchase the system. If you look at a Switchvox quote compared to a name your competitor quote, Switchvox quote is a page. Name your competitor is 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of line item after line item. Makes it really easy. It's very unintimidating for a customer. And then easy to manage in the long run. So if you need to add those features, it makes it really simple. Interoperability, we kind of already talked about, where you can, on both sides of the PBX, whether it's the phone side or the trunk side, you can use whatever connectivity that you need. Ease of use, if you haven't seen Switchvox, it's very, very simple. Everything's drag and drop, simple. Click to drop, click, drag and drop, everything's really easy. Inline in the GUIs, there are help menus, these help menus here. So if you ever have a question about what you're looking at, maybe it's just not called the same thing that you're used to, or maybe it's a feature that you're really not familiar with. Click on the little question mark within the GUI, the user manual or the admin manual, depending on where you're at in Switchvox, pops up in that particular section, and everything that you need to fix that problem is right there for you. Makes it great. And all the portals, whether it's the user portal where you get user control, administration where all the moves, adds, and changes and setup happen, or the Switchboard are all 100% web-based. So nothing's on the desktop. You don't have to worry about applications running. You don't have to worry about what version of Windows they have, whether they have Mac or PC. None of that matters. It works with all of them. Integration customization. Jim just talked about this. The ability to be able to think outside the box with your phone system. your customers have very specific, or you have very specific needs that work with your business. Some application that you guys use or your customers use that separates them from everybody else. Find out what that is. Figure out, is there a way to integrate that application with their phone system? So when a caller ID comes in, it creates a pop-up that brings up their customer list. Something that's going to differentiate it. But all the tools are available for you within Switchvox to make that happen. And then future-proof. We do, typically 2 feature releases a year that constantly improve Switchvox. So even if there's a feature that isn't in it today, that does not mean it's not going to be in it in 3 months, 6 months, a year down the road. We have a great way to communicate those feature requests into us if you need them. So we have a future-proof product as well. And many products in one we kind of already talked about. Switchvox, with one user, they have access to all the features within Switchvox all together. Every user has access to them, but again, there are those controls, so you can make sure Johnny doesn't record calls that he's not supposed to, or that kind of thing. Okay, so Switchvox Cloud. Feature-rich Switchvox in a hosted deployment. So Switchvox Cloud is one of the few, if any, hosted deployments that's the exact same feature set from the hosted platform to the premise platform. Every feature is the same. You don't lose anything. The licensing model is the same. You have a user, they get access to everything. The integration between the two is the same. So if you say you have a premise system today with Switchvox, but you've decided, well, I hate managing the system. I just don't have time for it any longer. I'd like to have somebody else do that for me. I like this cloud idea. I'd rather move. That's fine. You sign up for Switchvox Cloud. Your exact deployment transfers directly over to Switchvox Cloud. Your end users know nothing of the difference, and you can move on. So there's no learning curve of having to learn a different system. Everything just smoothly translates over to the new application. Complete UC solution, so every feature that's on the system is there. And then end-to-end on-site hosted or mobile solution with Digium. So you can also do hybrid solutions, and we'll talk about that in just a second. All right, so Switchvox Cloud is a cloud-based version of Digium award-winning Switchvox. We have the idea of Switchvox Anywhere, which we'll talk about in the next slide. We have no contract terms available, so if you have a customer that just isn't interested in a contract, maybe wants to try it out for a while to make sure that it's right for them, we don't have any contractual obligations. There are discounts available, so if somebody is interested in signing a contract to save some money, they can sign extended contracts and get a discount on that, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. Direct and indirect support are available, so we sell it direct, and we sell it through our channel, which is really great. So if anybody here is a reseller, you can now use Switchvox Cloud to stop that gap that you might have. Smaller customers, people that really are interested in hosted, you can now have an application for that, and it can be the same as their premise model. So you only have to sell them one thing, and you tell them, what flavor do you want it in? Do you want hosted or premise? That's fine. You don't have to worry about, well, if you want hosted, I'm going to sell you this, but if you're not, you're going to have to do this. If the customer says, well, I want that feature from that, well, you kind of get in this cycle that's not healthy for the customer. You sell one thing, you ask them how they want it deployed, and it can be deployed that way. Mobility and fixed mobile convergence. So our mobile applications, all of our mobile features that are available in Switchvox Premise are available in Switchvox Cloud. So the ability to have a mobile app on your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry where I can make a call through my mobile phone. It actually gets generated through your Switchvox, so the people that I call will see my work caller ID as opposed to my cell phone caller ID. You want to hold on to that brand that you've spent all this money to build, and then your salespeople call your customers and it shows their personal caller ID as opposed to your company. It's not a good thing, so you can pass all that along. You have salespeople that work out in the field. You want to make sure they're making the calls that they're supposed to. Well, if they use their personal cell phone with other systems or with no system at all, you have no track of that. With Switchvox, they make the call through the application. It holds on to all that call detail. You can run a report on somebody that works in Wisconsin. They're the same reports that you can make them if they work here in Atlanta. And fixed mobile convergence is a really cool feature that we added, I guess it's a couple of years ago now, to where I can basically attach different devices to my extension. So my home phone, typically the most common one is your cell phone. And once you do that, you get some really cool features. So for example, say I've made arrangements today to leave at 5 o'clock. And I've made the arrangements. I've got kids that need to be at soccer practice. I've got somewhere to go. I've made arrangements for 5. Well, as it always happens, 4:55 rolls around and the phone rings. It's my boss. It's the channel director for Digium. It's now somebody that's going to hold me up, and I'm going to be late. And in the past, there's really nothing you can do. You just got to be late and hurry where you're going to go, and you're just kind of stuck. Well, if you have your cell phone converged to your extension within Switchvox, there's a function you can hit on your desk phone. Just hit **2. Your cell phone rings. You pick it up. You're now on the same call. The person I'm talking to has no idea that that happened, and I can take the call with me out the door. You can do it backwards, too. So say I get back to the office, transfer that call back to my desk phone, no longer using minutes on your phone. So lots of flexibility with mobile applications as well, and all available within cloud just as it is on-premise. All right, Switchvox Anywhere. This is our kind of tagline for Switchvox Cloud or Switchvox in general, is because we can now support any deployment model that you'd like, whether that's on-premise. We have Switchvox premise that we've had for a long time, have Switchvox Cloud, and then we have a hybrid solution. So a hybrid solution would be kind of like I described with McDonald's as an example. So if I have a corporate office with lots of people where it makes sense to have premise, but then I have all these small remote gas stations or burger places or all over the place that are deployed, I can have hosted for that and have premise connected together seamlessly, and it looks just as if they were two premise-based systems connected. So you can combine the two with cloud and with premise as well. All right, so through the research that we did, there's kind of an ideal application for Switchvox Cloud, because realistically, it's not for everybody. We can scale up to as large as 200 users for any company profile within the lower US today. We hope to expand that, but it's available today in the US 48. Now, these are kind of the 4 points of that's kind of the best case. Now, it doesn't have to be all of these at the same time. It can be just one of these. But companies with 5 to 30 users is kind of a sweet spot. Companies with more than one office or remote employees, kind of like the McDonald's example that I gave. Companies with limited access to technical resources, and companies seeking better business continuity for their communications. Here are the Switchvox Cloud features: unlimited minutes and of local and long distance dialing under the terms of the acceptable use policy, but you do have unlimited minutes. Toll-free service, local DIDs, unlimited extension dialing, HD voice will carry over using Switchvox Cloud. And then you have all the standard, all-included Switchvox features, including our Switchboard, mobile applications, visual voicemail, all that is included as well. All right, so as far as some key specific features, so if you haven't seen Switchvox before, this is a Switchvox Switchboard. And the Switchboard is a user productivity tool. It's available to everybody, again, within Switchvox. There's no additional licensing fees for this. Everybody gets one, but it's not required. So if you have somebody in engineering that has no use to get any of this information, they just want to pick up the phone and dial somebody, the once a month that they make a phone call, that's fine. They can still use their phone. You can still transfer and create conferences and do everything from the handset. And in fact, with a Digium phone, you get a lot of these features on the phone as well. But for somebody like an office manager or a call center supervisor or somebody that works within a call center, this is a really great application. So you get your active call that you're dealing with. You can record the call on the fly. You have visual parking lots, visual searchable dynamic directories. This is a call center supervisor queue, so you can see who's in my queue, who's on the phone. You can hover over their name and get their statistics for that day in real time. Everything updates in real time here. How many people are waiting in the queue, how long they've been in the queue. This is our phone book that shows presence information. These little icons here are presence indicators, so you can see who's available, away, do not disturb. Who's on the phone, little green bar. I can drag and drop calls from here to somebody over there. Just click on the call, drag it over there, and you can transfer calls seamlessly. Instant messaging, built-in instant messaging within Switchvox. Our instant messaging is great because it's built on Jabber, XMPP, so if you don't want to use Switchboard, maybe you don't have a need for it, but I love iMessage, or I love Adium, or Trillion, or of the millions of free applications for chat, you can take your Switchvox chat account, put it in there, and you can use whatever you'd like. Okay. Salesforce integration, kind of like we talked about with Jim, if you do we have APIs where you can build the integration. Salesforce and Sugar CRM are built into Switchvox. So if you use Salesforce, it's already built for you and ready to go. But lots of other applications are possible. So this is again, our Switchboard is available to everybody. Fixed mobile convergence, we talked about, again, where I can hit **2 on my phone and transfer that call back and forth. This is what that can happen. It also allows you to have, a good example is we have lots of people within Digium that work from a home office, but then they also have an office within Digium. So they can have those two extensions and basically merge them into one. And then within the switchboard, there's a little thing that shows what phone they're working from. They select that phone that they're working from, and then everything that they do within the switchboard interacts with that particular phone. So what that allows you to do is, if people have those multiple extensions, you give out one extension to the world. So I call 6100 to get to that person. And regardless of where he happens to be that day, whatever office, it rings that correct office. So it makes it really great for people that work remotely outside the building or have multiple offices. Switchvox Mobile, we have mobile available for iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry. And it's all included. It's free from those respective stores, so you can download them today if you'd like and try them out. But again, I can dial from my mobile app that's actually made through Switchvox, so it shows up. I can access all my call rules or find me, follow me rules from my mobile app. So if I go on vacation and forget to change it, I can do it right there from my mobile app if I'd like. You have access to the directory and your voicemail from the application as well. Detailed reporting built into Switchvox. So we have not only your basic reporting like call logs. In fact, our call log is a little more advanced than a lot out there. For our call log, if you have you have typical call log where you have the call that comes in, who it was from, who it was to, and the time that the call made, and that kind of thing. Well, with Switchvox, you have a little extra button called Details. Click on Details, then every step of that call is listed. Who dialed it, how long they talked to each person, did it get transferred, did it go into a queue? Every step of that call is logged there. So if you want to get advanced information, maybe you get a caller that complains, I got hung up on, or I got transferred all over the place, and nobody helped me, you can figure out exactly what happened to that call, and then go back and deal with it. We also have the standard reports like total number of incoming calls, outgoing calls, be able to generate charts and graphs on the fly. All of that is built in. And then we have specific queue reports as well. So if you have call centers and you want to generate abandoned call reports, redirected call reports, all of that is built in as well. And then lastly, we can schedule all of that. So if there's, you don't have to go and create the same report every day. You just say, here's the report I'd like. Here's the people that need it, the email addresses, and it emails it out to those people automatically. Right. Here's an example of the reporting interface. This is just a log. You can output to Excel, output to XML. For the charts, there's a chart button. So you can create visual charts or just view the raw data. Or again, you can output it to Excel and make your own custom things if you'd like. Extend your phone system. This is exactly what Jim was just talking about, being able to take Switchvox and apply it to your customers or to your specific business needs. So if you have some application out there that's really vital to your business and you have the ability now with Switchvox to use the tools to combine those two things. And they're all included. So we have a site called developers.digium.com that has all the tools in order to make that happen for you. All the forums that you would need, everything is there. If you want to see if anything's already built, we have the Asterisk Exchange. If you go to the Asterisk Exchange, there's a Switchvox section that will show a lot of the applications that are already built. Some of them you can buy, some of them have the information of how to get there, so that maybe it's already built for you. There's lots of them out there, and you can just go find it and buy it that way. Collaboration. We have built-in conferencing, Meet Me conference rooms. If you're familiar with Asterisk, kind of the same idea. I have one central conference bridge. Then everybody on the system has a 5-digit PIN code that you can give out. So I have one number to dial into. Everybody on the system can have their own conference room. I can have multiple conferences going on all at the same time. You no longer have to pay a third party to have that application. It's all built into Switchvox. Video calling. We support point-to-point video calling with HD audio and video. Chat, we already talked about. Presence, being able to change it from your phone, change it from your switchboard. All of that is built into Switchvox. Built-in call queues and ACDs, so if you want to build call centers, whether they're advanced or simple, maybe you have a couple of people in accounting that need to be called at the same time, and you want to generate a small queue and run some reports on that, you can do that too. Interactive voice response, or IVRs. It's not just an auto attendant. Press 1 for this, press 2 for that, although if that's what you need, it'll do it. But advanced things. Maybe you want to put in an account number, and it spits back your account balance like we used to do when we called in the banks before we all had mobile apps, right? Maybe you want to create payment over the phone. All the tools are here for you. It's really simple. There's a really great visual application or GUI to help you build these things. All right, so pricing on Switchvox Cloud. So the important key there to all those features is that they're available in both models, premise-based and cloud-based. All of them are the same. For pricing for Switchvox Cloud, the standard is $35 per user per month. That's with no discounts, so that's with no contract. We do have discounted pricing if you do want to sign a 3, 2, or 1 year cost. We have unlimited local and long distance minutes, local DIDs. We have 800 numbers available for an additional cost, additional DIDs if you need them. HD voice will pass over. There's a separate discounted level for extensions with no minutes that are metered. So if you have a lobby phone or you have a break room phone that isn't really going to be used much, you just rather have that idea metered, we have that option as well. How we stack up compared to the competition? So this is an apples to apples comparison. So you're going to see if you go to some of these competitors, they have cheaper plans, right? You can buy in some of them for $9.99 or $19.99 or whatever it may be. But this is this is an apples to apples comparison. If you're going to have the same feature set that you'd have or close to it that's available within Switchvox, this is what it would cost you in a lot of the others: $39.99, $40, and $49. And those say plus because it's even larger when you talk specifically and adding specific features because they all do it individually. Competitive differentiators, again, that Switchvox Anywhere idea. So if they want to start with hosted and then maybe they outgrow it and they want to go to a premise base, because at some point that monthly charge, once they get to 20, 30, 40 users, starts to make more sense just to buy it instead of paying that. If they want to switch, they take their configuration from their hosted, put it on a premise model, and off they go. Unlimited minutes, it's our technology from end to end, from the trunking all the way down to the handset. We have national and certified channel footprint, all in pricing, and then private cloud infrastructure, total control over the network. All right, and then if you need more information, this is where you go, digium.com/Switchvox Cloud. We do have a channel model available for Switchvox Cloud as well, so if you're a partner, whether you're a current Digium partner and you haven't taken on Switchvox Cloud yet, or you're interested in becoming a Digium partner, we have all this available in a channel model where you can get recurring revenue for yourself. So definitely let us know and we'll get you that information. All right, so that kind of resolves the presentation, so I'll be happy to answer questions, so go ahead. For Switchvox Cloud, I don't believe there's any plans for white model that I'm aware of. It's going to be purely Switchvox branded. Yes. I'm sorry? Who owns the customer for the channel program? So really, it would be you. So it's your customer. You'd bring it to us. You'd register deals. If you're part of our channel program, it's your customer. You would be the primary mode of support, but then you would have the ability to call us and work with us.
Yeah, just to clarify, so on Switchvox Cloud, all billing and everything is done from Digium directly to the customer. So as an agent, if you were signed up as an agent and everything else, then you get paid commissions from Digium, but we do all the billing directly. But we encourage resellers to be involved because, of course, there's a lot of things required for optimizing their networks to make sure their routers are configured correctly and everything else. So we want you to actually own that customer relationship, but we do all the billing directly and pay all the commissions directly through our system, so we don't have a white label system set up, but you're actually paid for being that. And then any additional services you provide, you can do that on your own on top of that.
Yes?
Is the cloud available overseas?
The question was, is the cloud available overseas? No, today it's just US 48. We hope to expand that down the road, but as of today, it's US 48. Yes? Mm-hmm. Are you talking about cloud itself? So good. The question is, we do 2 to 3 major feature releases a year. The question was, do we charge for those? With Switchvox Cloud, we do not. They're included within the $35 renewal fee. With premise-based, there are renewal subscriptions and maintenance that you pay with Switchvox Prem, but with Switchvox Cloud, it's all included.
Yeah, just to clarify, the cloud version of Switchvox is maintained by us, right? So we do all the upgrades and all the maintenance. So it's one of the less things you have to worry about as a headache. You don't worry about that because we want to make sure we're maintaining constant versions across the system. We don't want somebody to be running one version here, a different version here. So we make sure we keep everything on a constant version to make sure it's a simplified support model. So we handle all the upgrades and everything that's available to customers.
Okay. Question?
Is that $35 per month per user that base? Does that include all the upfront setup?
Good question. So it is possible that would be some upfront cost. There's some setup fees that would be charged. I think it's $25 per extension that you pay upfront, and then you'd have to buy the phones as of today. We're working on some other programs to change that down the road, but as of today, you just buy the phones. And then if you need anything above and beyond what's included, like if you need 800 numbers, there's small changes to that. But I can talk to you afterwards if you have any specific questions. Yeah, go ahead.
So the pricing model's fixed, so everyone's charging the same. So if you have 4 or 5 resellers in the same DMA, what's the competitive advantage for each one?
That's a good question. The question was, if everybody's charging the same rate and everybody gets the same discount, what's the competitive advantage for the reseller to do that? Again, it's about your value-add services, right? If we're all just reselling Coca-Cola, then it's whoever's the convenient person they go buy it from. It's the value you guys add on top of that, right? So what you can add on top of the services, right? Knowing that there's no doubt an agent can walk in the door and sell a service, but if he's not providing value, then he doesn't do a lot to that customer. So we encourage our dealers to be value-add dealers, right? To go in, because again, customers can say they're ready for voice over IP, but has anybody analyzed their network to see if it's ready? Are their switches capable? Do they have QoS available? You know, is their bandwidth capable? Can they know how to configure their router, right? It's not just a matter of dropping in VoIP service, because if you do that, you won't get a quality customer. They won't be happy with their service. We won't be happy delivering it. Nobody will be happy. And so that's where we need our research to be involved, because they have to go in and evaluate to make sure that customer is able to take this on. A lot of them think they can do it themselves, and they can't, right? We think, you know, IP is easy. We set up our own router, so therefore we can build a VoIP over IP network. And you guys know, as integrators and value-add dealers, it's not that easy, right? And that's where the value comes, is putting that service on top of that.
And to further answer your question, are you a partner of ours today? So, right. So one of the great things about our channel program is that it's very different than the Cisco model, where there's Cisco dealers on every corner. That's not the case with Switch. We purposely do that to not oversaturate markets, so that it's pretty rare that you would be in a deal where you'd have anybody with you, or maybe one more. It's pretty rare. So, yes. I'm sorry? Spread as far as.
$35, what's the spread for the channel partner?
I guess you're talking about what's the commission structure set up for dealers and agents. So Jim Butler up here is actually our channel manager, or director of channels, and so he'd be glad to go over the dealers and everything, continue that. We didn't set this up, but it's based upon a contract commitment that you get from the customer, right? The greater the length of the contract you get, the greater the commission structure in, right? So you can anywhere between 10 and 18% is what you're going to see based upon the length of contract commitment you can get.
So it's all based on individual contract. It's not aggregate of all the lines or users we have.
For the service, that's correct, but for our standard products, for reselling phones and stuff, that's based upon the level of program you're in and the amount of dollars you sell in Digium, depending on the discount structure you get.
Yeah, if you have any other, again, Jim is right here, and if you have any specific questions, he can answer that for you.
How do you deal with QoS being cloud between the customer and cloud connection?
Who do we deal with as far as?
Well, for example, you know, an office is going to have enough phones at their location, but the service is in the cloud. You know, is there going to be QoS across that connection?
Yeah, so the question is, it's basically the connection from the cloud, if you will, our infrastructure out to the customer's location. How do we handle QoS in that environment? Well, again, we're promoting access over broadband. We're not trying to do dedicated access, where it'd be nice if you had MPLS and you can control the circuit and everything else, but we know most of the small businesses, especially startups and stuff, can't afford that, don't want to sign long-term contracts. So what we're trying to do is we go in and make sure we certify the bandwidth before they bring it to us. So one of the things we do is we qualify every customer, and one of our processes is we go and test their bandwidth over an extended period of time. We can't run it for hours and days, so you know you get a snapshot of what it is, but you at least know whether you feel good, that it's good quality bandwidth or it's not, and then we work with them to set up QoS best we can through that broadband provider. There's no guarantees, because you are on open broadband, so you can't guarantee it how they'll route you have to set that up. But we try to do our best to qualify that, and we'll work with them throughout the time. Most cases here in the States, and it sounds like you're from Scotland, so maybe you're not here locally, but here in the States, you know, Comcast is a proven provider that provides really good bandwidth that we deal with quite a bit, and we don't seem to run a lot of QoS providers. There's other, you know, smaller ISPs, you know, maybe regional ones you're running to have a little bit, but most of the big ones, they seem to have pretty good QoS, and we're able to address it. It all depends on what they're trying to set up. Some people, of course, will try to put too many people on limited bandwidth, and then we encourage them. So we work with customers to make sure we try to address their bandwidth needs and their quality of service needs. So
Actually, before we ask any or get any further questions, kind of cutting into your break time now. So if you guys want to go ahead and take a break, if anybody has any questions, we'll stay up here at the front. Please come on up and we'll answer as many questions that you have. But I didn't want to further cut into the break time that you have. So it's break time.